Hi guys, it's Steffi from the Novelty Corner and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with my December book haul. There is a stupid number of books beside me and I have no one to blame but myself. But let's be real, that's nothing new. I've broken these up into categories. I'm going to go through gifts, review copies, subscription box books, and then things that I purchased because why not do it in that way? So the first book is not technically a gift, but it was something that I did receive for free because I participated in Book Depository's promo video challenge thing, and I was able to choose a book from them for free, and for that I picked Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. Mira Grant is Seanan Maguire, who wrote the Wayward Children series, which I really love. I haven't read any of her other books. I've heard that this one is very, very creepy, and it's about, I think this one is really creepy mermaids or sirens or something really creepy in the ocean, and I think it's going to terrify me, but I'm going to read it. I actually received 2 books for Christmas this year, and you know, that's a lot of books for me to receive at Christmas time because no one ever buys me books. The first is The Power by Naomi Alderman, which I haven't heard of, but I think sounds slightly dystopian and very much like The Handmaid's Tale. And the blurb says, all over the world women are discovering they have the power. With a flick of the fingers they can inflict terrible pain, even death. Suddenly every man on the planet finds they've lost control. The day of the girls has arrived, but where will it end? It sounds really intriguing and I'm looking forward to picking this up at some point. And then my lovely sister bought me John Grisham's new book, The Reckoning. I haven't read John Grisham in many, many years, so this is going to be a really nice change of pace to go back and read one of his books. So it's not something I would have picked up for myself, but that's the beauty of bookish gifts, is that people will buy me things that I wouldn't necessarily pick up for myself, which is why I wish people would buy me more books, because I like trying new things. So I'm very grateful to have this. Right, next we come to the review copies that I received, and this is a hefty pile considering this is me and I don't normally receive this many review copies in a month. The first book that I want to talk about was really surprising. I received it on Christmas Eve and I was so excited to receive it, and it is Vidasia by Lynette Noni, the final book in the Medoran Chronicles. I am so excited to have this, and you have no idea how much self-control it is taking not to pick this up and read it straight away, because as soon as I read it, I'm going to want to review it. The thing with review copies in Australia is most publishers would prefer you to wait until after the book has been released to review it. So I'm going to hold on to this one, and it is going to be the first thing that I read around the time that it is released because I need to know how this story ends. So thank you very much to Pantera Press for sending this to me. It was a wonderful, wonderful Christmas present and I cannot wait to read it. I also received Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi from Simon & Schuster. I am participating in the blog tour for this later in January, so stay tuned for my review on this book then. But this is a young adult contemporary book and the cover is seriously my aesthetic. I love this cover. In December I went to the State Library's YA showcase, which is looking at all the upcoming books from publishers in Australia in 2019, and I did receive 2 books in a goodie bag that we received on the night. The first is Watch Us Rise by Renee Watson and Ellen Hagen, and I think this is also a contemporary book, and it is, I believe it's a feminist book as well. Yeah, it's about 2 friends who start a women's rights group in their high school because they're sick of the way that girls are being treated, and I'm very excited to pick this up and read it. I also received Sky by Ondine Sherman, and this is also being published by Pantera Press, and I think they've said it's sort of on the younger end of YA, and this is all about animal rights, and there is a series of these books coming out and this is the first one, so I'm looking forward to checking this one out at some point in the near future. And I also received a stack of books from Alan and Unwin, who I am very happy to work with every month. Unsolicited, I received The Wicked King by Holly Black, the sequel to The Cruel Prince. I wasn't expecting to receive this, but I'm glad that I have it, so I will finish reading this sometime in the near future. Soulbinder by Sebastian D. Castell. This was book 4 in the Spellslinger series, and I have already read this. I have a review for it. It was a great read. I love that I can continue reading and reviewing this series for them. It is just a whole lot of fun. I received a finished copy of Flight Risk by Michael Maguire. I did receive an uncorrected proof, but I have the finished copy, so this is the one that I'm going to be reading, and I'm very much looking forward to this one. This is sort of a thriller story, and it follows the disappearance of a flight and the man who starts investigating what actually happened to this plane. So I'm looking forward to it. I also received Belladonna Covered Road by Ruth Symes. This is the first book in the Belladonna series, and it is a junior fiction series about a young girl who is a witch, and she just dreams of being a witch, and she's adopted from an orphanage by Lilith, who lives on a street full of witches, and it's about friendship and overcoming difference and believing in yourself, and I really, really loved it. It's very cute, very easy to read, and I'm looking forward to sharing this with my class in 2019. And probably one of the most exciting books, aside from Vardesia, that I received was An Uncorrected Proof of Four Dead Queens by Astra Child. This is a Love Oz YA, young adult, fantasy, standalone book currently, and I cannot wait to read it. I'm so looking forward to it. It doesn't come out till March, so I'm just going to have to contain myself just a little bit. The next arc that I received came in a subscription box, and this was in my December Fairy Loot box, and that is The Stormcrow by Kaylin Josephson. This is from Source Books, and it is a young adult fantasy book that has been tagged as Eragon meets And I Darken. I did receive 4 books in subscription boxes in December. The first being Fire and Heist by Sarah Beth Durst. This came in the same box as The Stormcrow for Fairy Loot, and it is a young adult fantasy book about were-dragons and heists, and I am very, very intrigued to read this. It Came from the Deep by Maria Lewis, which is a young adult mermaid story set in Australia, and I read this in 2017. I absolutely loved it. This is a signed, personalized edition for me, and I'm so glad that I have it because I would really like to reread this at some point. The Rift by Rachel Craw, which I don't know all that much about, but I think it is sci-fi-ish or dystopian-ish. And finally, Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, which is his young adult release. I did have the paperback edition, but this is the Fairy Loot November hardcover edition with yellow sprayed edges. So I'm going to keep this one. The other one I may possibly gift to someone at some point, but I'm very much looking forward to starting this book. Finally, we're up to the other books that I purchased just because I felt like it. I have the Circus Hearts trilogy by Ellie Marnie, All the Little Bones, All Fall Down, All Aces. They are gorgeous, gorgeous books. So glad that I have them. I've talked about them non-stop, so I'm going to put them down now. Space Opera by Catherine M. Valente, which I think is meant to be Eurovision in space, and it is not very long. I love Catherine M. Valente's writing style, and I'm very intrigued to see what she does with this particular story. Children of the Dragon, The Relic of the Blue Dragon by Rebecca Lim. I think this was recommended by Ellie Marnie as something that her sons really enjoy reading. This is about the age range of the kids that I'm going to be teaching in 2019, so I wanted to try and read a few more books of different genres in this readership age, so I'm going to have a go at this one. A Blade So Black by L.L. McKinney, which is, I believe, an Alice in Wonderland retelling, and that's all I know about it, and I saw it in the store and had to pick it up. The next book is a non-fiction book, and it is Your Dream Life Starts Here by Christina Carlson. Christina Carlson is the founder of Kiki K, and this is her book, and it's sort of a self-help book, but there's also things for you to fill in and bits and pieces. I'm not going to read this in one huge chunk. I think I'm going to read bits and pieces of it throughout the year and sort of work my way through it, but I have been meaning to pick it up, and I picked it up on Boxing Day because I got a discount off it. The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making by Catherine M. Valente. Wow, that's a mouthful. Is a middle grade fantasy book, which I know Kirsty from Melbourne on My Mind raves about, and I saw it for the very first time in a bookstore here in Australia, so I picked it up because otherwise I was going to have to order it at some point, and I'm very, very eager to read this. The Wild Robot Escapes by Peter Brown, which is the second book in a middle grade series, but I've heard lots of really good things about the series, and I have the first book on my Kindle, so I'm looking forward to reading this. Lady Helen and the Dark Day's Deceit by Alison Goodman. This is book 3 in the Lady Helen series, and I can't believe I have not read this yet. I've just been so busy, but when I sit down to read this, I just want to cozy up with a cup of tea and read it, because this is sort of Pride and Prejudice meets Buffy, and I love it to pieces. And then finally, I picked up the Alice in Wonderland Oracle because I'm obsessed with all things Alice in Wonderland apparently. It comes with a little guidebook, but the cards are just full of stunning artwork, and I couldn't not have this. I'm not even going to attempt to pick up everything because this is just a lot, but I can't say that I'm unhappy with what I've picked up. If you have read any of these books, let me know your thoughts down below, or if you have any suggestions for what I should pick up first, do let me know. I hope that wherever you are in the world, you are having a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye guys.